All right, welcome. And I am here with Luke Null. This man is a very talented comedian and a Bengals fan. The two might be related, to be honest with you. And he is the host of the Guitar Comic. It is his own comedy podcast with his own creative, original songs. And he explores his different body parts in this very entertaining podcast. So make sure to check that out. Luke, how are you?
I'm good. And just quick correction. It's a live comedy album. I wish it was a podcast. Then it would be repeatable and probably more marketable than what it is. But yeah, it's just a live comedy album, guitar comic.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
right. I'm sorry. I'm so used to talking about
No
podcasts.
worries at all. I
Yeah.
didn't yeah. It's a gift that doesn't keep on giving. It's just an hour of comedy.
Yeah, and you can
Thank you
find
for
it
having me on.
anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. So how are you? Look, how have you been dealing with the whole pandemic and everything?
Man, really thriving, Daddy-O. It's good to be back for the second time. Really, I'm living my best life in my bedroom. I purchased a new microphone. I don't know how to use it, so I'm sure that I don't know how far away to be from it,
You
but
sound good. Yeah.
things are going great for me. I hope, the hand inside of your butt is as comfortable as ever.
Yeah, it's yeah. It is. It's very warm and soft and yeah. So look, I you're feeling good. I'm feeling good because I'm looking at what the Bengals are doing and I'm hearing about basically I want to talk about first how Joe Burrow, whoever they put out there with him at receiver, he's in the news. It was Auden Tate for a while.
Yeah.
And now we keep hearing about CJ Uzomah and Mike Thomas. Now, these guys were not expected to be Pro Bowl pass catchers. But when you look at the past two practices, they have made some big plays with Burrow throwing to them. Now, Burrow didn't have the greatest 11 on 11 drills the past 2 days, but was better in the 7 on 7s.
Sure, because
And
that would
if you
involve our O-line, and that's where it's gonna be bad. I don't think anyone looks at the Bengals roster and is like, "Man, they don't have the receivers." It's like, "No, their receiving room is pretty stacked." That's not the problem. It's pretty much everything else. It's the offensive line, the defense is just a huge question mark. I don't, usually at this point in training camp, you usually are reading about how much the defense is just dominating the offense. So I guess it's good. Ooh, hell, there we go, Dave. Thank you. I guess it's good that they're dominating the defense, but I'm kind of worried because at this point in the game, it's supposed to be the defense is killing the offense. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I do, and that's a very good point. That it is without the offensive line out there, they're thriving. But yeah, so I want to just yeah. So Burrow, he had some really nice plays that I want to talk about. Hold on one second.
He's just a beautiful
Yeah, here
boy.
we go. He is a beautiful man. Yeah, and so on Wednesday, right? He had a 70. He went 75 yards, and he had two sideline passes. One to CJ Uzama and one to Mike Thomas. And then he stopped the clock with 9 seconds left, and he got Thomas on a quick out, and then he found Uzama in the middle for a touchdown. The next day, today, on Thursday, he had a nice back shoulder touchdown to CJ Uzama, and he had found Mike Thomas on the corner route for a touchdown again.
Man, I would
And
love it
I
if
just think,
CJ
yeah,
Uzomah turned into a great tight end. You know what I mean? Like, just because he's been through some like bad years with the Bengals. Same with like Mixon and some of these guys who've been on and Tyler Boyd who've been on the roster for a minute. I just really hope that they can give them a year to shine and not have like another. I mean, my expectations are pretty low for if this season happens at all, but like, I would just love to see some of the guys who've slowly been building up year to year, like CJ, who's I think is so fun and in all of his social media and stuff, he seems like a good dude, and I know he's friends with Gio Bernard. He's just likable, dude. I hope he has
yeah.
like a breakout year because they just last year it seems like Zach Taylor doesn't get tight ends really involved very much at all. So anything that they from the tight end room is good news for me.
Yeah, well, we talked about this last time with Rebecca Toback. She was on the show last time. And we talked about how Zach actually said the tight ends are who stood out this offseason. And we
I
don't know
saw
if that
that.
was propaganda or if it's true, but if it's true, that's really, something, because Drew Sample had a big catch and run last week. Remember? So I mean, that's what I like. I was comparing him to Dwight Clark of the Colts, and it's just like anybody put out there with Burrow looks like a playmaker all of a sudden.
I'll take it, man. That's your quarterback's supposed to elevate the play around him, and hopefully he can. I'm just extremely worried about the offensive line still. So hope
Yeah. Well,
hope they can be
speaking
okay. Yeah, go for it. You got the numbers.
no, no, yeah, I was gonna say. Speaking of the offensive line, they've been moving people in and out. Part of it is Michael Jordan had a baby, so he was out,
Congrats,
and
MJ.
yeah, the next Air Jordan we will see from that, and also they've been moving Fred Johnson around. So they moved
Big Fred.
Xavier Su'a-Filo. Yeah, I love Fred. He was on the show, great guy. And they moved Xavier to left guard and Fred Johnson to right guard. And then the next day they put him back at right tackle, Fred Johnson, because Bobby Hart is out with the calf injury. But they're moving people around. And one guy that we might see in the mix a little bit more is Hakeem Adeniji, who they say has great feet, and they're very high on him.
It seems it's funny to me because I'll read the same updates and then listen to the radio guys talk about the training camp updates and stuff. And it seems like they're moving around a lot of guys on the O-line. They're trying to find the best combination of 5, right? And that's, it seems like Jonah Williams is pretty much locked in for that left tackle spot, but they're switching people around. It's just a bummer to me that they're so like, it seems like holding on injuries that Bobby Hart is like locked in at the right tackle. I'm like, I really want Big Fred to like be able to supplant Bobby Hart, because Bobby Hart just, man, on top of not being great on the field, he sucks kind of. Just
Yeah.
If you follow him, you're just
well,
like,
he did.
This guy is unhinged.
Well, he turned down our show, which is it's a very troubling sign. He didn't come on our show, but Fred Johnson did. But I think with Fred Johnson, Luke, I think he is the long-term guy they're developing because he started playing football so late. They're hoping that he's going to be a starter eventually, but this year they're just plugging him in different spots. I think
Right.
he's still, yeah. So I do see him replacing Bobby Hart maybe next year, maybe not this year. But yeah, you're talking about injuries.
You had to. I know, like we're not there watching every day, but if you like, who are the 5 that you're rooting for to start on the offensive line this year?
Well, I mean, I'll say, okay, so Trey Hopkins, obviously, Jonah Williams, those guys are definitely the starters. I thought for a while Michael Jordan looked like he had a hold on the left guard spot. And so I would like to see Fred Johnson. I don't think he's going to get the right tackle position, but I would like to see him get maybe some more right guard because he's just such a big guy, such a talented guy. I'd like to see him start somewhere, right tackle or right guard. I don't know. Yeah, and Bobby Hart, I don't know. I'm just trusting the coaches on this one. They say, one thing that I think someone pointed out, I think it was, what was his name? The guy who writes for The Athletic, I forget his name. But he said how Fred Johnson is pushing. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so. He said how Fred Johnson is pushing Bobby Hart to improve, and so he's looked better this preseason, this offseason. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, John is our offensive line guy. I don't. Yeah, I'm more a skill position guy.
Some part of me still roots for Billy Price to like find his spot. You know what I mean? I just because they used that first round pick on him, I'm like, please, like, let this guy eventually develop into a starter. But it's like, come on, I don't know if he's gonna.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was on our show, which really
I root for the guy.
That
I'm
bodes
rooting
well for him. Yeah, me too. So look, a lot of stuff to cover here. John Ross had a little wrist injury. He seems to be fine. He put the sleeve on. He seems to be fine. AJ Green, he is back with the individual drills, and they say he looks smooth. Yeah, I love AJ Green. He had a nice one. Yeah, he's the best. He had a nice one-handed grab, and he said he's going to participate in one of the final 2 scrimmages. We don't know which one it is. Maybe he's doing it for the rating, so more people watch.
Right. They're
But
going to be holding it at the Dayton practice field that they did it last year, where he hurt himself for the year because it was apparently just like filled with divots, which that sounds very Bengals that they're like, yeah. We'll definitely practice on this random Dayton practice field. Did you read about that
yeah,
last year?
yeah. It's that was it was like within 45 minutes he was out for the year, which is really bad.
I'm bracing for that because what is it? What like our first round pick has missed like what 4 of the last 5 years. Like every year's first round pick doesn't play their rookie year because they just Bengals luck. I'm just part of me is so damaged and hurt as a Bengals fan that I'm trying to put some. Oh, I can't don't know where my camera is. Trying to put some miles on my Burrow jersey already in my own
Yeah,
house, but I'm just bracing for bad news. Like I'm just
yeah.
bracing for. I mean, already the corners. Well, that's fun news too. Like the guys that we got from Minnesota. It's like, cool, sure, of course we go spend a bunch of money, and then they probably aren't going to play. But
Yeah, but with AJ, I'm not that worried. I mean, so it's a hamstring injury he has right now. And I
right,
talked with Rebecca, and she told me that hamstrings are real things. They are real. It was just a little confusing, that there's this string in your body that whenever you pull it, you can't walk for a while. And it seems like you just hear about hamstring injury, it's gone. So I don't know, but it seems to be a real thing. Yeah.
hey, as long as I don't hear about that turf toe of his, because I'm still skeptical that that's a thing. I don't know if that. I'm sure it's horrible and is something you can't ignore, but I don't like the term. Okay,
Yeah.
hurt toe or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I just want AJ. I just want AJ back in that lineup, man. The team is so different when he's on the field.
Yeah, I think he'll be back. I think he's going to be back and he's going to play the full season. They're going to be careful with him. They'll be careful with a lot of the veterans. Gene Atkins got a day off. Dunlap has been held out. These guys they're taking it easy with our stars. They're older stars, the guys in their early 30s. Yeah.
And I think that's totally fine, especially given the circumstances. It's a weird time. I'd rather hold those guys out and let them keep what they got left in the tank for the season. In my eyes, there's nothing for. I mean, I'm sure with like guys like AJ and stuff, it's been so long since he's actually had live reps against
Yeah.
other guys. I'm sure he's probably itching for more reps. But it's like Carlos, that's our rock. That's our
Yeah.
rock, baby.
Yeah. I mean,
let him rest.
AJ did talk about how he needs to get that communication with Burrow. And he says he needs to know where he put the ball for me, how I like this route, that route. But he did also say that this is the most stacked offense and loaded receiver core of the Bengals since 2015. So he's very positive on that.
I heard him say that. I'm like, I'm on paper. I think he's right. Like Auden Tate is such a nasty boy that nobody ever really why would they? We went 2-14 last year, but Auden Tate was having such a nasty year. Went down. Like, who do you think is the odd man out? Because that receiver room is so stacked right now. Like,
Yeah.
does
I think
Alex
it's
Erickson not make the team? Like, someone's not gonna.
not make the team. I don't know. I mean, I think we keep
I don't know.
7 receivers, but I mean, I
Okay.
think Erickson not get that many snaps. And Auden Tate, it depends how healthy our top 4 guys are. Because
Right.
I think he's right after Higgins, and obviously Ross and Boyd. Boyd is is the guy we know is going to be all games, every game, and then we have Green and Ross, and then probably Higgins. But you talk about Auden Tate, and what's funny is he revealed recently that he wore number 18 in high school and college because of AJ Green. And Higgins was a big AJ Green fan, modeled this game. It's just so funny that AJ Green has these 2 little disciples. These guys.
Dude,
yeah.
I was so excited when they drafted T. Higgins, and he was like, honestly, he's the first time I can ever remember watching the draft and like a young, like rookie player who coming into the league was like, yeah, I like the Bengals. Like I watched the Bengals. Like he said, whether it's true or not, he was like, the Bengals are my favorite team. I love AJ Green. And I was like, man, it's just
it was weird.
So rare.
Yeah. I almost wanted to give him a hug. Yeah. But
yeah.
We talk about the injuries, but a very minor injury with Joe Mixon. He has migraines, and it's terrible. The migraines are terrible. And you have to wonder if this is a result of negotiating with Mike Brown, if these have kind of driven him to the brink of insanity, or, is this unrelated? We don't know.
Pay the man.
Yeah.
Write him a blank check. He has been one of the only bright spots for years. And
Yeah.
he put out some tweet where it's like he only wanted like 8 million or something a year, which in the grand scheme of things, like, give
Well,
him
they
that.
said he wants to be in that 8 to 12 million range. I don't think he said, but yeah, it was the players he compared himself to. But yeah, but I mean the negotiation thing, I understand if it's giving him headaches. I actually have been on the opposite side of that. I've been on the Mike Brown side. So one time I wanted to get the drum sets. Okay, just real quick, I want to tell this story so people can feel sympathy for, Joe Mixon. And there is this. I went to this used place and I picked out my different pieces, my drum pieces, and they were from different brands and different colors. And I said, hey, can you put these together and put new colors on them? And they said, sure. So they did all this, and then I kept complaining after I bought it. I was like, hey, that's not the crash that I wanted, that's not the whatever tom I want. And so I kept going back and forth, and eventually they just refunded me the money and wouldn't answer my calls. And I was like, what's going? And so they basically gave me a whole drum set for free because how much I bargained with them. So yeah.
So you're saying that you want Mike Brown to really big dick him enough time? Can I say that? Is that not allowed?
We are live. It is not allowed, but we are live. So yeah, it's out there. Yeah, but
forgive me, Daddy. I did not mean.
No, it's okay. It's just
the
affects
BD term.
It just affects the monetization. It just affects how much money I can make from this. But that's okay.
Gotcha. So now that this one has been buried in the algorithm,
right?
I hear you. Yeah, but more than anything, I'm just glad that you're slapping the skins out there.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that is one good news, is that he also went to the dentist. So I don't know if that is important, or if that's related. I don't know if that is he wants to have nice clean teeth for his press day after he signs a new contract. Maybe that's a sign. We don't know. With Joe Mixon, there's so many signs that he could be getting.
There are a lot of like. I assume you follow him on Twitter. His Twitter is so like cryptic.
Yeah.
It's a lot of him like peace signs, and I'm like, no, and then he's like, yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
I hope they get it done.
But the best news coming out of Bengals today, honestly, was that the park rangers found Mackenzie Alexander's dad. Now, Mackenzie Alexander's dad was picking palmetto berries, and his friend left him there, and then he was stuck in the park. And then park rangers found him today. And park rangers, remember, they also approached Carlos Dunlap and told him to disperse in Florida. And they let a white group continue playing in the grass, but they made Carlos Dunlap. So, it's like park rangers, they giveth and they taketh away in Florida, apparently. But but what I noticed, Luke, I looked up palmetto berries. I was like, what are palmetto berries? That I looked it up.
I truly don't know.
Yeah, there are some sort of berries where people are getting busted for illegally, trespassing and taking these berries. And it's a very dangerous sport, apparently. It is like, have you seen that movie Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio? Or have you heard the Green War in Colombia with the emeralds? It's something along those lines. So we're very happy that his father is safe now and he's back with Mackenzie. Yeah.
Still, though, what a weird thing to be like into,
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm guessing they're very expensive.
Lateral move and go blueberries, man. Just go up. You know what I mean? I guess that's
California. He's Florida. Maybe it's California.
That's true. Then collect alligator eyeball. I don't know. Whatever's down there. Nothing good.
Yeah. But last thing I want to talk about is the social justice stuff that's all over. So Luke, you've been following the NBA stuff, right? How basically last night LeBron James, he walks out and says, we're not going to play the season. And the Clippers too, and everybody's shocked. And then today he says, well, I think it's in our best interest to continue. And so a lot of Bengals players, AJ Green said, hey, I'm okay with practicing, but I want the stuff to be done. I want the higher ups to do stuff. And he talked about how some players are intimidated from speaking out. The players who are still worried about getting those big contracts.
I watched that interview with him too. And I mean, I'm a white comedian sharing what I think, but I think more importantly, it's just, I think they're just trying to be heard. I think they're trying to have people listen to them. And I get what AJ said about people are like players are afraid to come forward because they don't have the same stability, or maybe they don't have the guaranteed contracts. And in football, I'm sure it's different because there's 53-man rosters. I think it's a little easier for the NBA, your 16 or 15 guys on your team to agree on something across the board and be able to make a more organized show of something than in the NFL when, like you have that dude from the Steelers coming out, what's his name? Villanueva. It's like,
Yeah.
right. Then you make it less powerful, and then it makes it about this guy. And then people, you know what I mean? Then the message is like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I mean,
They're
I
making
think
about something that it's not about.
I think these players have found the balance. Like LeBron James, he threatens to quit. And then I guess overnight they fixed a lot of problems, but he's back. He's like, hey, I realize my best interest. It's the same thing with the China thing. I don't
Right.
remember. LeBron, he comes out and he tells Daryl Morey. I mean, who's Daryl Morey? Okay, Northwestern educated, MIT, whatever. He says, you are not educated on the matter. And he says freedom of speech has negative consequences. And this is going to harm people financially. So,
Sure.
when they get, and sure, China is, people are saying committing genocide, forcing, abortions of the Uyghur population,
Right.
destroying their places of worship, forcing them out of their homes,
Right.
making them change their religion and their language, all of that. But that's all the way in China,
I know.
So
Well, I'll tell you what, Daddy, and this
Yeah.
is maybe a hot button issue, but I'm against genocide. I think just in all occurrences, I'm painting with a broad brush here, and screw me if that's something that gets under people's skin. But just in general, no thank you to genocide.
Yeah.
If someone's doing a genocide, I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna be over here. You know what I mean? I'm on the other side of that issue. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying LeBron James made a business decision. And as a businessman, I understand that,
Right.
He said, look, I mean, there's maybe Daryl Morey has all this education in these elite universities, but he's never played basketball in China the way LeBron has. So
That's
it's a
true.
very complicated issue. And you see that you can't really, you can't judge these players. They take their stance when they need to. And the bottom line is they want to play. They want to play their sports and they want to have a voice at the same time.
Right. They definitely do. Yeah. To me, yeah. It's odd to me that they did the one night thing. I mean, obviously it dominated the headlines. I'm sure it made Big Daddy President really mad that people weren't talking about the RNC and that they were talking about, playoffs not happening. But it was weird to me that they only stayed out the one night. You know what I mean? I thought that they would do it a little longer, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, look, LeBron is 35. How many more opportunities you have to win the championship, right? So I mean, look, they are in terms of visibility, they are making with the jerseys and the Black Lives Matter on the court. They're doing what they can, and I think in football we see maybe some stuff that's similar with the Bengals. I mean, one thing I think that was it Carlos Dunlap, that talked about it. They asked him how the Bengals were the last sports franchises to speak up on the whole, when people raise their voices about social justice. They were one of the last, but they did donate $250,000. So they're doing it
the
on the
Bengals
way.
are still going off dial-up, so they probably just got the message later than everyone. But they still use Juno internet service.
Probably. But one thing they can't ignore is that the head of their franchise, Joe Burrow, had this to say. He said, how can you hear the pain Black people are going through and dismiss it as nothing? How can you hear the pain and respond with anything other than I stand with you? So I think having someone like Joe Burrow,
having someone like Joe, I'll tell you what, him just reading that made me so excited to have that guy, hopefully for the foreseeable future, be the quarterback of the Bengals. Somebody like, even when Carson Palmer came out, I was definitely excited and I was hopeful for the future. But like having Joe, if you don't agree with that tweet, like you're just a bundle of toxic energy. Like he's not saying anything controversial there. He's saying, yeah, you should maybe listen to these people. They're not making this up.
Well, it is controversial when you consider the demographics of Bengals fans. And I think that is why Mike Brown, we've talked about this before. That's why he's so conservative on these issues, because he doesn't want to lose fans. Well, guess what? This year, no fans in the stadium. Maybe he comes out and he's a social activist this year, Mike Brown. I don't know. Maybe he has to be on the golf cart when he does it. But maybe
he won't. I mean, Mike Brown is the cold miser, or the heat miser, whichever one he looks more like. I don't, you know which one I'm talking about.
Well, let's be honest. Yeah,
he's not changing his mind.
Well, it doesn't matter, Luke, though, because Elizabeth Blackburn, Mike's granddaughter, is the one who heads the committee that Dunlap is working with, and all these guys. That is going to kind of change that whole discussion. So yeah. So that is we'll see what happens. I mean, the thing is, we talk about the Bengals here. If the Bengals are talking about these matters, we talk about them. You know?
Sure. No, I'm
Yeah,
with you. I'm glad they're talking about it. You don't, you want to be on
yeah,
the right side of history. It's just a bummer that if you go on, read any sports Twitter, like go and read the replies to that Joe Burrow tweet if you
yeah.
want to lose all faith in humanity. If you really
Oh,
want to get good and depressed, just read the first. It's like, how much missing the point can you possibly do? You
yeah,
know?
yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Joe Burrow.
That's a hot take from me. That's a hot take from me. I get
Yeah,
it.
it's okay. It's okay. I'll just edit that out. Oh, I can't. It's live. Yeah. So thank
Yes.
you, Luke. Yeah. But
Yes.
no, I'm just joking. But look, yeah, but Joe Burrow, overall, I was listening to Lapham and Dan Horde, and they were talking about how he's excelled overall. He's had, like he said, I think he said 3 bad, maybe practices, or not great practices, but the others have been
Right.
great.
He's
And
human.
he's human, and he's not playing with his top receivers, and like you said, the offensive line, I really think he's going to push them to find their identity and cohesion and learn to play to his talents and maybe overcome their weaknesses. So I think the more he practices with the offensive line, I think the offensive line is going to get better. I really do. I've seen it
I
before.
hope
Yeah,
so too. I mean, we're not talking about. I love Andy Dalton.
yeah.
I am
A
an
sweet
Andy
guy. He's a sweetie
apologist.
pie. He's a sweetie
He
pie.
is.
Yeah,
He's easy to root for. I will say, I do make a lot of. I've defended Andy for a long time, but I am excited about Joe once the pocket breaks down. You know how Andy is. It's like lob up a duck for a pick or roll over and
yeah.
die. Like he just
He's almost,
extending the
yeah,
play is not
yeah.
something he was good at. I'm excited for Joe
No,
to extend the play, but also like I'd love to see them actually get Joe Mixon involved in the passing game more. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He's so nasty. I just hope
I
they
agree.
feed Joe to Joe, you know?
And don't forget Travion Williams, who's on their show. So they get him involved in the passing game. Yeah. But yeah, so
They released the other guy though, right? Rodney Anderson, they released him.
yeah, he couldn't pass the physical. He
Yeah.
also, I don't know, he was not on their show. I don't know if it was related, but yeah, he didn't pass the physical.
Honestly,
But
I'm sensing a pattern. Everyone
yeah,
everyone I'm rooting for has been
yeah,
on the show.
it's
Everyone
weird, isn't
has
it?
been
It's really
yeah.
strange. Yeah.
Oh, it's
But
no
look,
coincidence.
no. Listen, folks, if you like Luke as much as I like Luke, check out his show. His it's on YouTube. It's on all these different iHeart. I think that's what that was for. It's everywhere. And Luke, by the way, former Saturday Night Live cast member, very talented comedian, big Cincinnati guy. He's from Cincinnati. He still follows the Bengals, loves the Bengals. We're going to try and have him on more. And yeah, so don't forget to subscribe to this show and like and leave some comments and turn on your notifications. And by the way, as we've mentioned, we are going to be on the Believe Podcast Network. We are still launching that. They're working on the art. They're very nervous about depicting me and Hoji, and capturing our beauty. So they're still working on the art. It's been a couple of weeks, but that podcast is going to be up very soon. And
I hope you guys become huge divas.
Yeah.
I hope it really goes to your head and that you guys are immediately ordering interns around to get you coffee. And then if it's too hot, throwing it at them.
That is absolutely, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Hoji already does that. He already thinks he's a rock star. I mean, that's the way he behaves. Yeah.
It's true.
But
It's true.
yeah, so thank you so much, Luke, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I need my Bengals distraction because I watched the Reds win game 1 of their doubleheader today, but I haven't checked the score for the second one. Assume they're losing. They've been a huge disappointment. So I know this isn't about the Reds, but
yeah,
it's just another.
Well, it is. It is. I mean, until the Bengals start playing, we have to pretend to care about the Reds. But the Bengals will be a couple of weeks. We're going to be seeing the Bengals play, so that is going to be great.
Hey, now I don't know if I've ever told you guys how much I love when you would edit highlight reels together.
Yeah,
you guys
thank you.
Always put together some great highlight reels, and it wasn't like the default like Madden trap music in the background. I was like,
it's too expensive, the copyright. Yeah,
exactly. I like the horns, the 70s football recap horns.
I appreciate that, Luke. Thank you.
I really do enjoy it. And I remember there was a point where you were on the Bengals Reddit. Shout out to the Bengals Reddit, and you were like, does anyone want to highlight real? I forget what year it was.
Yeah.
After like 2017, and I requested a Brandon LaFell highlight reel,
Wow.
and
Oh,
you
that was
made
you.
it, and I was
Yeah.
like, they made it. And the thing was,
Wow.
he deserved credit that year.
I
He
didn't
did
know
have-
I didn't know a comedian was asking me. I thought it was a serious request. Yeah. No, I'm just joking. Yeah.
It was.
Oh, okay,
It was, but it was a bit of a wink as well.
Yeah. No, he had a decent year. I always said that he for some reason the amount of speed that he had worked really well with Andy Dalton. Like his deep ball, like Andy Dalton's deep balls to LaFell were perfect timing because his arm was as strong as he was fast. It was very funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't LaFell's fault that Marvin Jones and Mohamed Sanu were gone, you know?
Yeah. He did okay. He did okay.
He almost had,
Yeah.
I think he had like a 900 or like, he had like
Yeah.
a pretty good year with us.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so that is it. Check out Luke Null, and we will see you next time. So long, Sviti.